Well, are you a high value woman? I know we've heard that so many times from one in particular who is no longer with us, but that man was genius. I mean, he didn't coin the phrase about the high value man or woman, but what he did do is take it and run with it. Um, he was an image consultant. Um, so he used that strategy that he used to help his clients to captivate an audience that just looked at that as the go-to. And with that, people just that's how they try to live their lives and decide who they want to be with in a partner. But you got to remember, we're all different. Out of all the billions of people on this earth, not one person has the same set of fingerprints. Not one. That means beauty is in the eye of the beholder. We're all different. We all like different things. But it's amazing how we can change someone's point of view just by constantly saying the same things and talking about some of the same things that make a person think that they need to have or do whatever that person says to be able to get the best person for themselves. But you got to remember, there's some people that like small women, big women, medium-sized women, some like uh, Asian, some like white, some like black, some like Hispanic. They're all different types. Some like short, some like tall women. But the value doesn't come from what I just described. Those are adjectives to kind of say, describe who the person is. But the core being is just not that. There's some things that we can talk about. One is what Proverbs 31:10 says. Her price is far above rubies. Do you know rubies don't depreciate? They don't lose their value. That's how valuable you are. God said you are fearfully and wonderfully made, ladies. And how dare somebody come on a platform, even though it was genius and it worked and it was a part of him continuing to build his platform and his business as an image consultant to support the views that he had on, that made him successful. But then he gives out information that didn't line up. I heard him because I didn't watch him at first. Somebody told him to go watch him. He give it, and I think my son-in-law was one of them. But we were watching all this. We was watching all this stuff. I was watching all of it and looking, and he was putting people down for not having degrees, saying that they don't have a career. They don't have a profession. They have a career that because you're going into a job, you get paid hourly. But success is predicated upon what you like. Success is being able to say, "Hey, look, I got everything I need. My bills are paid. I can live life the way I want to live it." If you're a Christian, this is what this platform is for. Then, hello, Phyllis. It's just saying that you you speak what you want. So if you're living and you got the career that you want and you're saying and you content being single, then that's fine. But if you want to be with somebody, you don't base it upon what somebody else is saying. Hello, Miss Brooke. Because that means you got to look at everybody. Every time you get ready to do something, you got to go to somebody to try to get an answer, figure out what you're trying to do or what they want you to do. That's not how you're going to live your life. First of all, you should be living according to what the Bible says. And God is the ultimate source. If he tells you to go right, you should go right. If he tells you to go left, you go left. But there are things about what he said, that just used to kind of get up under my skin. But like I said, he was genius in what he did and how he did it, because that's what he was. He used his successful business as an image consultant to take a phrase that was already coined to gear people to a certain way of thinking, so that's how they look at their lives. And so many people are single and miserable because they can't find that person. That's not a six-figure person. Is not something that you come across every day. And you don't have to go to college. And I thought about something that he put a woman down for having different baby daddies, and she had been married, and she was I forgot what it was she was doing, but he was like kind of like putting her down, so to speak. And I'm thinking to myself, how cruel is that? But again, like I said, he was genius in how he did it. It grew his platforms, and he very successful before he passed. But he wasn't in a relationship as far as we knew. But he was giving out advice for other people to follow. And one of the things I realized about him, this man had been married twice. He only had one child, but he was still married twice. So, and he went to college, but he didn't get his degree. So you talk about a high value man having a profession and doing this, doing that. Yet he didn't have a degree that he was talking about his other girl not having her degree. And I thought that was, hypocritical of him having said that. But the second thing is, like I said, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Whatever you're attracted to, you get to know that person. Don't worry about what the world is going to say, because ultimately it's your happiness that's going to dictate your success in a marriage or in a relationship. If you give your all to that person, they give their all to you. It doesn't matter. You put your resources together and you live happily ever after. It doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. That's the problem. These social media platforms just put everybody at odds with each other, and you're thinking this person is having this kind of life because you see them doing this. Those people could be so far in debt trying to live their best life to prove to other people that they're living their best life, and they're miserable because they're trying to figure out how they're going to pay this bill. They're trying to pay the minimum on this credit card. They're trying to pay this. To me, that's stressful. And all of that stuff links back to things that could affect you, like heart disease. You got to make sure you take care of yourself first. Live within your means. And six figure is not the goal. That's what, it's whatever you're comfortable. You guys have that discussion when you're in a relationship and decide how you're going to do this. And so to let somebody else tell me how I'm going to do it, and because they got different baby daddies and all this kind of stuff, that takes us right into the next one. We all done made mistakes. Now, if you continue to make those mistakes over and over and over again, and you don't want to change, that's different. But I've made several mistakes, but I changed, and now I feel like I'm living a good life. There's some things that I could do better, absolutely. But that doesn't make me a bad person. That doesn't make me invaluable. So it's like make me not valuable, should I say? Because I am valuable because what God says about me. And so I can't worry about what everybody else thinks, And so I'm looking at one of these great, and let's say a prayer for Bishop T.D. Jakes. He had a medical thing, that happened. So we'll be praying that, he has a full recovery, and that God will be with him and his family as they go through these difficult times, because it's played out on air. But anyway, his daughter, Sarah Jakes Roberts, is a perfect and prime example of a high value woman, according to his definition. One of the reasons I say that is because she got three baby daddies. But see, women, we're emotional, so we go all in. We get in a relationship, we go all in. We want to do the best we can to love that person. And so in the midst of having a relationship where we're giving our all, we might get pregnant and things happen, but you don't stay in it. You just move on to the next. And that's what she did. And so because of that, that was just, it's just great to see that Touré Roberts didn't, look at it that way, and look at where they are now. And that's what I want y'all to take away with it. Don't let nobody, because if he had looked at her, Sarah Jakes, at the way that Kevin Samuels was dictating her to not have, or whatever, she hadn't finished her degree, got different baby daddies, and so that would have been that would have been a negative for her, to not be able to get with him because of what she's done in the past. We can't hold it. If God held that against us, we would be in terrible shape. We can't demand nothing from nobody that we don't have ourselves. This man was giving advice about people not doing certain things, but he himself hadn't been doing it. So now he becomes a high value man because he was an image consultant, and he used that platform to grow his audience and to get more clients, which caused him to go into six figure. But that shouldn't say that somebody else can't get it that same way. And so I applaud Sarah Jakes for doing what she's done, being an overcomer in spite of the mistakes she's made, not letting that dictate who she is as a person. But she allowed God to use her and to take her into the direction that she is now, and to be successful with her husband along her side, and also being there to be her number one supporter. It's beautiful to see that. It gives other women hope that's made mistakes and done things. And she talks about it in her books. I ordered that book. And it's just a beautiful testimony and story of what God can do. And she tells you herself about her flaws and the things she's gone through, what she liked, what she dislikes. But what we forget is, had she not made those mistakes, who knows where she would have been. God takes all of our mistakes and makes it into a beautiful testimony. And so we can't give up on that, especially when it comes to relationships. We have to extend that grace to others. That doesn't make them a bad person because they made mistakes or they've had, different situations. You can look at people that get in bed with other people, and just because they don't allow that, God doesn't allow that sperm and that egg to meet, doesn't mean they haven't done the do. It's just other people there's shown outwardly when they've done the do and come up with a baby. So that's not saying anything different than somebody that's gotten together and, had some encounters. So I'll say that way. But I want every woman that's listening on here, right learning journey, said no judgment, just grace. Absolutely. But I want all of us to learn to love ourselves in spite of what other people are saying. Learn to love yourself and also grow so you can attract who you are. And that means you're attracting a person that has the love of God, that has character, that has integrity, that has morals, that is kind, that has love for their family, that's loyal, that's honest, a person that you can trust, that you can have fun with. All those things matter. The people, I heard somebody make a comment about, you don't attract who you are, you have to attract the opposite. If I'm good with math and paying bills and you not, that's not what I'm talking about. Those things you can sit together and learn who's going to take care of it. And those are just everyday actions that has to be done throughout your time together. But you're attracting who you are as far as the character, the core being. And so that's what I say when we grow, when you grow together with the things that you like. And so I just, want you to know, Learning Journey says, yes, you have a love affair with yourself and God. That's true, because without God, you can do nothing. And so I want us women to just take pride in who we are. When you walk out the door, make sure you represent you and you alone. Make sure that when you do things, whatever career path you choose, it's a passion that you have. And you might have to work another job until you get there. But don't look at yourself. Don't look down on yourself because you're not making six figures. Just be that. All those fruits of the Spirit, be that. Have a love for God that He will point you in the right direction so that you can be seen by that man that will find you. As the scripture says, he that finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor. Favor comes with finding us when we're wives. But if we're not a wife and we want to stay single and we just want to, do our thing, then that's a choice you get to make. Nobody's going to force you. God has never forced us to do anything. Marriage is beautiful in His sight. But if you can stay single and just care about the things of the Spirit and how you can please God, then that too is a beautiful thing that God loves. He says that in His word. So just know that. Don't listen to everybody else trying to tell you. You got all these men out here telling people, giving people good advice, and they do give good advice. But the problem I see is a lot of them don't want to do the work. So they decide not to be in a relationship. They just probably hitting and missing on the side where y'all don't see and they ain't talking about it, which is terrible because you wouldn't want nobody to treat your mom, your sister, anybody else like that. So women, know your worth and know that you are valuable and that you can wait until the right person comes along. But if not, God is enough all by Himself. But if you seek God, a man got to see God in you to get to you, to even consider him as your mate. Because you have to make that choice to be with him. Even if he is a good person, doesn't mean he's a good person for you. So don't just get caught up in the hustle and bustle of life and not feeling like you got to be alone. Brooke says amen to that. Because I don't like being alone. But I'd rather be alone and be at peace than to be with somebody that's going to treat me like trash because they making those six figures and they treat you like crap, talking to you any kind of way. Verbal abuse is just as abusive as physical abuse. So you have to know who you are and not let people change that view about yourself, because people tell you stuff over and over again. Sometimes it affects you and it gets to you. That's why when you really, 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 like the Learning Journey say, have a love affair with yourself, they can say whatever they want to say. I'm good. Because ain't nothing you can do to change who I am. I have to work on me. I have to decide that that's what I want to believe, and I don't. Phyllis said, I know that's right. Because it's the truth. We are special. We're beautiful. And God made us all different. If we had a bunch of the same people, it's just like, those housing developed neighborhoods where you see those cookie cutter houses where every house look the same, might have a different shade of a color, a neutral color, whatever. To me, I don't want to be no cookie. I want a house designed just for me. And so I want a man just for me. But I want a man that's going to treat me right, a man that's going to respect me, a man that's going to love God, where I know I can follow his lead because he's going to follow Christ. All those things matter. And so when you look at it that way, they won't change you. Either they're going to change to get you based on what they've already done. They know that, oh, this one is worth it. Let me do this. Everybody else bump y'all, and they'll cut them off. I've seen so many beautiful relationships, and some, just from the natural eye, from what society has said, you wouldn't have put them together. But it doesn't matter. When that man sees the beauty and the value in her, he sees that ruby that doesn't lose her value. Oh my God, that's a beautiful thing. And women, we don't have to sit back and wait for men to come take care of us. I see a lot of women talking about they want to be that trophy wife and all this kind of stuff. Where you get that from? That Proverbs 31 woman, she was selling real estate. She was a real estate investor based on what I read. She was a seamstress. She sewed. She made sure the kids had. She got up early, cooked. She did all that kind of stuff. So, for me, that's just something that I take pride in. Being the woman that God says I am, and not worried about what the world says or who the world says I am. I'm not what the world says I am. I am different, and we all are, but we're all made in his image. God beautifully and fearfully and wonderfully made us. I added it beautifully because I think we're all beautiful. So, that's just my 2 cents for change. Learning that men don't dictate my value. Nobody should ever dictate your value, only you. That's just my 2 cents for change. And until you get that, ladies, you're going to let guys do whatever they can with you. Have your own. Don't make demands on a man that you don't do for yourself. Make sure that you love on yourself. Make sure that he can and will be willing to do things that you want to do as well as you do things that he wants to do. Don't make it be one-sided. Men have feelings too, and I've learned that their feelings on their shoulders too a lot more than they think women are. Women, they done put that label on us of being strong Black women for my sake. And we do what we have to do because we have to do it. If nobody does it, then it's not going to get done sometimes. So don't let nobody put that on you. I don't want that label. I'm not a strong Black woman. I'm just a woman doing what she has to do to take care of herself until God blesses me with another husband that will love on me and treat me right. And because I had to go through a lot of stuff of me learning to love me, then that made me a high value woman. Because I love me, I know what I want out of life, but I'm willing to submit. I'm willing to sacrifice parts of me all of me, but the parts of me that I might not like, because there are some things that he will like and I won't have to really change that. But if he needs me to be something for him, I will, but it still won't change who I am, because whoever God sends my way, they will value me and let me become the woman that God destined me to be. So it's a compromise in a relationship. And remember, you got to encourage that man. You got to support that man. And so, women, if you're not willing to do that and you just, it's my way or the highway, well, good luck with that one. But I consider myself a high value woman. When I look in the mirror, I love what I see. Are there some things that I would want to change? Because I know we are our own worst critics at times. But there are a lot of things that aesthetically I would probably want to change. That can be changed. You can pay for it if you want to change it. But I'm not willing to do that. That's just me. This is the package that you see. This is the package you'll get. But inside, the things that other people can't see that you'll get to know, that's valuable. That's valuable. Because I can be kind to you. I can be supportive. I can be patient. I can be understanding. I can be all those things you need me to be. When you come home, once we're married and you come home, I'm going to make sure that you are the king of the castle. Women, that's what we need to learn to do. And don't lose yourself now, because you're going to get with a man that's going to value you, and he won't allow you to do that. Like I said, the perfect example that I know of, and there might be things happening behind the scenes, but Torrey Roberts and Sarah Jakes Roberts, I heard him say what God told him to do with her, and I've seen it happen. I've seen it come into fruition. So I know that they're paired together well. And so I love that about them. Learn Journey said, learn to love the skin you're in. That's the truth. If you don't love you, you can't expect nobody. You ain't going to attract nobody that love you back if you don't love yourself. That's why men look for confident women. And so one of the things my sister always tells me, she says, it's amazing that when you get somebody that likes you and you're into them, whether you're girlfriend or boyfriend, or you're just talking or dating, that confidence exudes a lot more. And then all these men want to come trying to talk to you. That's because that man is making you feel good for that moment. You're feeling good about somebody loving you, and then it comes out. We want that confidence to be evident beforehand, but even more so when you get in a relationship, everybody else is out the picture. But it feels good to say, hey, oh, look at that woman. She's beautiful, and they're attracted to you. They want your number, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it feels good, but when my discerning spirit or in my intuition says, that's not the one, you keep it moving. Don't play with fire, ladies, because you'll get burnt. But that's just my 2 cents for change. You dictate your value, and God's already told you you're valuable in his kingdom. Remember that. Until next time, be blessed. That's just my 2 cents for change.